Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here with another installment of I Finally Watched It. This time around, we're taking a look at the massively popular, I'm talking 95% on Rotten Tomatoes popular, Korean zombie film Train to Busan from 2016. The film was directed by Yeon Sang-ho and stars Gong Yoo, Jung Yoo Mai, and Ma Dong-suk. And yeah, I don't speak Korean, but I'm doing my best here, so please take it easy on me in the comments. Speaking of the comments, why not hop down and let me know your thoughts on Train to Busan? When I posted on Twitter that I was watching this for the very first time, I got a whole bunch of responses from people telling me that this is their favorite zombie movie of all time and one of the best they've ever seen. So yeah, let me know, and while you're there, click that like button and hit subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. The plot of the film is relatively simple. A father taking his young daughter on a train ride to visit her mother. You see the parents are separated, and recently there's been an accident at a plant that's released some chemicals, so you know how this goes when it's a zombie movie, right? And all it takes is one infected person hopping on the train to ruin it for everybody. Now, I remember that when this film came out, it had a whole bunch of buzz. It caused quite a splash. And I'm a huge zombie fan, mostly old school stuff like the Romero films, at least the early ones. And I really don't have a good reason for not having watched it up until this point, but hey, like I've said before, maybe the whole reason why was so I could share my first time with you guys. So yeah, let's jump into what I really enjoyed about the film, and there's a lot to love here. The acting is great, the way the characters interact is really fun. You've got this classic kind of Romero type story, right? Where not every character is necessarily a great person, and you sort of get an examination of how people treat each other when crisis hits, and how they come to terms with who they really are once the shit hits the fan. There are themes here that go all the way back to the original Night of the Living Dead. There's an older gentleman on the train who's really just looking out for himself and is very suspicious of anyone else. He reminds me a lot of Harry Cooper from the original Night. And then of course you have themes of paranoia, mistrust of the government, and the military as well. But where Train to Busan really carves out its own corner is how it veers away from those Romero rules while respecting them at its core. The zombies in this film, while fast and relentless, are also kinda dumb. If you throw a coat over their head or turn off the lights when they go through a tunnel, they have no idea what's going on and are completely directionless. This leads to a lot of comic booky fun. You know, our characters have great banter back and forth as they get to know each other, and some of the circumstances of how they meet and get to know each other aren't the best, so it's really cool to see them find a greater understanding and appreciation for one another. And while things ramp up as the film goes on, we get to see our characters in these really desperate, tense situations, and it puts you right there with them. There's plenty of action and plenty of heartbreak. You know, if you're a fan of zombie films, you're no stranger to this. You're gonna get to know some characters, and unfortunately, you know that not all of them are gonna make it. Now, as far as the zombies go, I don't really mind a fast zombie as long as everything around it works, and of course, as long as everything is properly motivated. So I actually really liked how contorted and strange looking the zombies were. I wonder if some of them are like contortionists or dancers, because they really had this like twitchy, odd vibe to them that really helped them stand out. The special effects for the zombies look really good too, whether it's the clouded eyes or the visible veins. You can clearly tell them apart from somebody that's not infected, and while some of the computer generated effects might look a little video gamey, I don't really mind that in a horror fantasy like this, because again, this is just like a big comic booky kind of adventure. However, not everything is perfect here. I think they linger a bit too much on the emotion. I don't mind having that in my films, especially in a film like this. I think it's really important actually, but if the film's runtime were trimmed down by about 10 or 15 minutes, I would find myself rewatching this so much. It just feels like it kind of drags a little bit in those emotional moments, and they're just trying to squeeze all the juice out of them they can. I'm interested in seeing how my feelings change once I revisit the film, and you know, everything has a little bit of time to marinate, because I'm a huge fan of the zombie horror subgenre. It's one of my favorites out there. You know, the Romero films just laid a huge foundation for how I would look at film moving forward, and they're a big part of my life, so I see myself revisiting this one, and maybe I'll enjoy it even more on a second viewing. Guys, that is gonna wrap it up for this installment of I Finally Watched It. I recommend Train to Busan to horror fans, especially if you're a fan of the zombie subgenre. Now, if that's not really your thing, there might not be much here for you, and it might just turn you into an anxious mess, so look out. I love the characters, the character development especially, that feeling of isolation, desperation, and paranoia. You know, bringing in those Romero qualities, but also finding their own spot, you know? I think that's a really important thing when you're making a film like this, is to pay respect to some of those rules, but also have some fun and create some of your own. Thank you guys so much for coming by. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on Train to Busan and what you want to see on the channel. We've got some exciting things cooked up, you know, some collaborations, some brand new shows, and I hope you guys are having a good time here because we're having a blast putting this all together for you, and we're so happy you've decided to join us. Until next time, I've been and will continue to be Davey Deathray. Take care.